Hi, welcome to your first video on writing. Allow me to explain this title. Defenders of critical reason have always pitted themselves against those they consider to be the enemies of the truth. To take an early example of this conflict, consider how Greek philosophers aligned themselves against the so-called Sophists in the 5th century BCE. These Sophists were so named because the ancient Greek word for wisdom is Sophia, and the Sophists claim to possess a certain kind of wisdom. These so-called wise men were essentially teachers for hire, who promised to teach the children of Athenian citizens what they needed to know to have a successful political career in Athens. But what they actually taught these young citizens had little to do with what we tend to think of when we hear the word wisdom. That is, what they taught them was sophistry, the art of using rhetoric to win arguments, even when the evidence is against you. In other words, this power of persuasive speech promised its young practitioners not the ability to defend the truth, but rather the ability to win arguments, regardless of the truth. If anything, then, such an education taught the Athenian youth to be indifferent to the truth, to not care about it at all. For this reason, some of the day's most prominent defenders of critical reason declared the Sophists enemies of the truth. For example, ancient Greek thinkers like Socrates and Plato held that there are two ways to convince people of what to believe. You can try to pull one over on them using rhetorical tricks, or you can use reason, logic, evidence, and clear speech to demonstrate that what you claim is true. Socrates and Plato defended the second way and took a stance against sophistry and its many rhetorical tricks. Now, sophistry isn't a word that you hear every day. It's an archaic and unfamiliar term. But there is a more familiar term that bears a similar meaning, and that term is bullshit. Bullshit is arguably sophistry's modern equivalent, and potentially today's most dangerous enemy of the truth. And so to defend critical reason is to take a stance against bullshit. So much for explaining our title.